We've all done it. We've sewn something together wrong and now you got to rip it out, right? And if you're not a chaos quilter like me and that's your solution, then you probably have a seam ripper or two or three or a few lying around, all right? The question is, how many seam rippers does one quilter need? I set out to find the answer, to test them all out, see what's worth your money and what you might want to pitch to the curb. Hi, I'm Amy and I make things. And in today's video, I am reviewing seam rippers. I collected them on the shop hop. I've filmed my first impressions and I have some thoughts. Hang around, let's see what happens. Like I mentioned earlier, my general way of ripping out a seam is rip it, right? Just tear it, use good fabric and tear it. And yes, there is some risk involved with doing that. You might tear your fabric, and there are times when I would not do that. If I'm working on bias, I generally don't. If I'm working with a curve, I almost never use this chaos quilter method. So in those instances, I'm going to need a tool. And you know, the quilting industry is always coming up with something new to separate you from your money. And the question is, are any of these any good? Well, I did some first impressions, and I'll include those here. And then I'll round it up with my final thoughts. One of the things that people recommended that I try while I was picking up products for review were seam rippers. Now, I have a seam ripper, right? I have this lovely hand-turned seam ripper that was gifted to me several years ago. My daughter has the lovely hand-turned seam ripper from Matthew of So Be It Quilts. I love these. They're great. But people kept recommending them, and they said, oh, have you tried this one? Have you tried that one? And I have my doubts. I'll be honest, I'll have my doubts. Also, I mean, here, let's flip the camera. How many seam rippers does one person need, right? Well, I intend to answer this question. We have a razor blade style. We have a little travel doohickey. We have this one that stays on the table. We have this one that's ergonomic. I happen to have a project that I am running shy on, and I need to rip off one section on each of these units. So I'm going to put them to the test and report back, let you know how it goes. All right, I'm going to test this little travel safety seam ripper, 1980s colors. They came in 2 or 3 different colors. Of course, I picked the teal and the purple because I'm a Gen Xer and that reminds me of my childhood. But it's simple, kind of chunky to hold, so it gives you a nice something to hold on to. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart, so that's beneficial. And we're going to just go, right? So I know there's a way to do it. You guys know how to use the seam ripper with the little, these seams are pressed open. It's going to be tough. Hang on. I'll find an angle. There we go, that you guys can see. You turn the seam ripper with the ball side down against the fabric. And you should just be able to hold it and zip right along, but it's not zipping. Why is it not zipping? All right, that is something that is interesting. Because of the way this is built, when I try to use it left-handed, the angle on it, it's a little hard to manage because it's offset. If you're right-handed, of course, boom, you're right in there. No, if you're still angling that down, it's still odd. No, it's still backward. So you should be able to. Okay, I hate this. So far, I hate this. because of the distance right here, I cannot get it down. See, I need to be able to get it down close enough on this edge so that I can rip through like this. But you want this end you want this little end right here, you want that in your seam so that you don't stab through your fabric, right? So this end needs to go in there. But because of the way this is designed, left or right-handed, the angle, you're too far away from it. Okay. Okay, well, there we go. That is a no for me. I'll link everything below so you can see for yourself, but this to me, no go. Okay, next we have the little razor blade style. There we go. I was asked if I had tried this. It was at the register. I looked at it, I opened it up. I have tried these, but I have tried them as like eyebrow trimmers. And you know, ladies, you know that they're little safety face razors, right? And then the person who I bought it from said, "Oh no, the serration's different." Guys, it's not. It's not different. It's exactly the same. So we'll see if this works. I'm sure it will. It looks like a great solution, but buy them, you know, 6 for $10. Don't pay $6 a piece for them. Or do, you know, you do you. But I'm just saying, you can buy them 3 for $10 at the grocery store or the drugstore and save yourself a little bit of money. Let's see how it works. So this, just going to get in here in my seam. Oh yeah, that works great. You just got to be careful not to shave your fabric. It's going to work left or right-handed. Got to be careful not to get into your fabric. A little bit. Now, granted, these are my first impressions, right? I just picked this up. This is the first time I'm trying it. It's doing all right. It's going to leave a mess, but it's going to leave a mess because it is cutting every stitch. But it is effective. It's fairly quick. It does leave a bit of a mess on the back, but that's, you know, that's just the nature of tearing seams out. So works fairly quickly, but like I say, buy them 3 for $10 at the drugstore. So this little razor blade style works pretty well. I don't know if I like it better than anything else, but it works pretty well. Next, we have the Grip Fit by Clover seam ripper. Seems to be ergonomic. Look, and it's turned the right way. On the picture, it's turned the right way so that the end of it, okay, it does fit in your hand nicely. No, it isn't turned the right way. Oh. There again, they are turned the incorrect way. So if I hold this in my hand the ergonomic way, the way they wish me to, the way it's designed, then I have to turn my hand upside down to get the ball end of the seam ripper in the seam. Here, let me start it a little bit. Oh, the blade on this one is a little thick too. Okay, so if I'm looking, if I want to do this safely and quickly, you're supposed to be able to turn it down this direction and zip it right through your seam, right? Well, it's designed entirely opposite of that. I mean, it is zipping right through my seam. See, that's how you're supposed to do it, but I have to hold it not the way it's designed. It's designed to be held this way, right? Sit in your hand, but I have to turn it have to turn it at an awkward angle. And sometimes it's just being left-handed, but no, doing it in the right hand, it's the same. Now, okay, all right, it's working. It's zipping right through there. So it's nice and sharp. I think. It's made of plastic. And of course the seam ripper bit is metal. Yeah, see now when I get down here where my seam is a little bit wonky on the back, it gave me a little trouble, but that may be where my seam was wadded instead of this. Now this one on the end, on this end, has that little rubber grippy bit, so you can theoretically run it across. Oh yeah, that works pretty good. And pull up all those threads. Pull up. That works okay. All those little bits of thread. Overall, it works pretty well. It zipped through the seam. It is a little weird to hold. I still have to hold it, you know, not at the like ergonomic angle that they purport. They show it, look, they show you holding it like this, right? But when I hold it like that, it's upside down. Okay, now this is a seam ripper that I had by Fons and Porter. It's one that I had. It does have a bit of an ergonomic design because it's chunky in the back and it's got this little grippy part up here. This part is sort of rubberized, as is the end. So it does give you that like eraser action to get those little threads out. But because this doesn't have a distinct curve in it like this one does, I can hold it the proper direction in either hand. Now I will say about this one, it's too short. This needs to be longer because when I have to get way up in here. Now it is sharp. It does zip. Look, it just zips right through your seam. Right? It works great, except I feel like it's a little bit okay, I might have spoken too soon. No, it works great. It just feels a little uncomfortable to have to be that close to the fabric. Just another 1/2 inch of length right here in the little actual seam ripper part, I think would have made it more comfortable. But, you know, overall, that one's pretty darn good. And that's the one from Fons and Porter. And like I say, this is one I just had. Next up is this little gizmo from Fiskars that I picked up on Amazon a while back when I thought about comparing seam rippers, because I thought it, you know, look, it's funky. Have you ever seen one like this? Apparently it's supposed to suction to the table and then you just pull your seam across it. And I thought, well, I've never seen, oh, it's a nice sort of, it's not sticky, but it's grippy, very grippy suction cup. It has instructions on the back, but you know, those are for other people. So, looks like you do this. And look, the little ball is going to be in your seam. It's pointed the correct direction. So you pull this up. It may not stick to my mat. It's not going to stick to my mat. Push it down and then push this lever and it's supposed to stick. And it doesn't stick to this. Well, let me see. Okay, that's a problem. That's a point not in its favor. Let me find a slick surface and see if I can get it to stick. See if it'll stick on a ruler. Push it down. Okay, so far I'm gonna press down and then squish it with all my might. It's still not stuck good, guys. And now it's going to move because it's on my ruler. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how this works. Is it a gimmick or is it good? Well, if you have a countertop or a slick surface in your sewing room, It might be good, but I'm having to fight with it. If you have trouble gripping things, this actually might be good, because I can set it here. Now, if I had if I were doing this not for the camera, I would take this out to my kitchen countertop and stick it down out there, because that's a nice slick surface. And then it wouldn't move. Then it wouldn't like dance around, because it wouldn't be on this ruler. So I can see a use case for this, whereby you can manipulate your fabric instead of holding something in your hand. So if you don't have grip strength, or if you're working with young children or beginners, this might be a good idea in a classroom situation. If you can mount, and it sticks okay. It probably needs to be cleaned of fuzz, but it sticks okay on the slick surface. It sticks well enough. A lot of room for improvement. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I will try it again on my kitchen. I'll rinse it off, because it is a little fuzzy. It's a little fuzzy. Rinse it off and try it again on my kitchen counter and report back. Like I say, these are first impressions. It doesn't stick to my mat. That's kind of a problem. But I can see a case for this. And it does come with a little guard to cover up the pointy bits. So if you've got it in your drawer, or just sitting on like permanently affixed to something, you can cover it up and keep yourself a little bit safer. Okay, now the tried and true. This has points in its favor already, because it's just so pretty, right? It closes itself up so that it's protected and you're protected. It's not going to stab you in your drawer. It's not going to inadvertently cut something. So far, this one is just going to be hard to beat. And I can turn the little ball the right direction and just zip through my seam. Guys, that's hard to beat. That is hard to beat. It's got a little heft so that it keeps the balance and the weight of the point down. See this one, like this one, the heft is in the back, the weight's in the back, whereas this one wants to go this direction. Right? It's just is so good, y'all. It's so good. It's hard to beat, and they're beautiful, and you support a small business, and so many good things. But these are just my first impressions. I'll do a little more testing and report back with some more information and more data. So let's just go through them one by one. The first one, this one from Clover. It's supposed to be ergonomic. It's oriented the wrong way. It needs to be this way in your seam to protect your fabric from getting cut or pierced or torn. Right? So it's oriented the wrong way. It does have this little nubby guy on the end that helps you pull out your fabrics. I know Donna of Handmade by Ying with Donna recently demonstrated using something like this, a seam ripper with this little rubbery grip, and this one has it too, to help remove the papers from paper piecing projects. And if you're using it for that, fantastic. I did not have good luck using it as a seam ripper. This one from Fons and Porter, same deal. It actually can be oriented the correct way, because it is not unidirectional. Like this one has one way to hold it. This one you can hold it anyway. But this little piece is too short. You're too close to your work for it to be comfortable and not effective, because it does rip the seam out, but efficient. For it to be comfortable and efficient. And so that one is not getting my mark of approval. Then we have this one, which I promptly threw across the table when I tried to use it. It's so cute, right? It's these 1980s colors. It folds up, it goes in your bag. And if you're working on a travel project, on something small, handwork, might be just the thing. I don't know if it's TSA approved, so fly at your own risk, but I can see where for a handwork project, it's compact, you might find it useful. I found it awkward and positioned incorrectly, and it's a no from me. But it is so cute. It is so cute. And generally, I like Boheme products, but this one, not so much. Now, then we have the little razor, right? And it comes with its little cap, though these get lost. These are easy to lose, they're easy to misplace. They don't stay on very securely. So keep that in mind. And this is a razor blade. So keep that in mind about throwing it in and out of your drawer or your sewing kit, that could be an issue. Also, it's just an eyebrow razor, guys. Like, seriously, I have them in my vanity. If you want to use this, and it is effective, I think this might be especially effective if you have to remove quilting. Like if you're pulling that top layer back and getting in between the batting and the quilt top, I can see where something like this, especially with the long reach, could be extremely useful. But they're 3 for $10 at the grocery store. Probably cheaper on the online, delivery service. I don't know. I can see a use for it, but it seems a little gimmicky. And you know how I feel about gimmicks. You know how I feel about gadgets. I like a tool, a very useful tool. Then there's this one from Fiskars. And guys, I understand the concept, right? I understand if you have limited mobility that this could be very useful. It, however, doesn't stick to my mat. My table is made of wood, so it's not going to stick to that. I would have to use this on a slick surface where this rather inflexible suction cup, right, is going to adhere. So that would be my kitchen counter or somewhere not directly in my sewing room. You saw me demonstrate it on a ruler. Well, that slides around like crazy, so that's not really a solution. But I can see the use case for this if you have limited mobility in your hands. I can see the accessibility use case idea behind this. I don't think it's executed especially well, but I can see a case for it. And then we have my all-time favorite, this one. This one, hand-turned. It's beautiful. It's comfortable in my hand. I've supported a small maker, an artist for doing it. Each of these is less than $10, right? This one is going to run you between $20 and $30, but it's handmade. It's made of wood. It's got a nice weight so that when you're using it, it stays in the position that you need it to stay in. So there are all those things going for it, right? And it closes up like the little one I don't like this little guy. It closes up securely. But the best thing about this is that I can replace this piece. Seam rippers, like scissors, like rotary blades, like all of your sewing implements, like your sewing needle, change your sewing needle, guys. They get dull, right? They get dull and you have to fight with it. But this can be replaced for less than $10, which makes it sustainable and a lasting tool. Like all of these, when they get dull, you're throwing this away and buying a new one. You're creating waste where it's not necessary. You're throwing these plastic pieces, and I mean, I'm not you need to save the planet, you need to think about these things. It's really more about longevity than it is about like environmental friendliness or sustainability. Hate that word. But, if I don't have to throw something away when it's outlived its usefulness and I can repair it or replace a portion of it, then I have something that lasts indefinitely. And to me, that's a better use of my money and my time than something like this, where when it's dull, it has outlived its usefulness and I have to toss it and replace it. if I can't repair it. Categorically, this, definitely this, I would put in the not worth your money pile. This is a maybe. It is useful, but I do wish this, the little arm for the seam ripper, I wish it were longer and you didn't have to be right up on top of your work. This is useful, you know, a maybe, right? And this is the clear winner. Any hand-turned seam ripper, and you can replace these little guys. You can get them at woodworking supplies. You can usually get them from the maker if you still have their business card or you know where you ordered it from, but they're easy to find. And you can get, you know, you can customize it. You can choose what wood you prefer. This one's walnut, but you can choose which wood you prefer, and it's only going to get prettier when you use it from the oils on your hand, and it's just going to develop this beautiful patina and be lovelier the longer you use it. So this is the clear winner. These are the maybe. These are the don't waste your money. Don't waste your money. And I'll list everything down below in those categories with links to everything if you want to try it for yourself. So, are you a chaos quilter and you're just going to rip that seam like I do? Or do you have a favorite seam ripper of choice? If you do, please let me know in the comments down below. What is your favorite seam ripper that saves both your time and your sanity? For me, this is the clear winner. Any of the hand-turned seam rippers, they're lovely, they work well, and they make a beautiful gift. So if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more reviews on quilting tools. I will always tell you the truth, what might be worth investing in and what is not worth your time, energy, and dollars. I hope you never have a date with Jack the Ripper, and I hope you never, ever forget that you make the world more beautiful just by being in it. I'm Amy, and I'll see you next time.